Today I'm looking at removing the bumper on my 2001 Dodge Dakota pickup truck. You can see here that it's starting to rust through pretty good, and in addition to that, the license plate mounting system is about shot. On this side it's gone, and on this side it's not far behind. So first thing I'm going to do is remove the plate and then start taking a look at what else needs to come off of here. Okay, you can see I got the plate off here. I'm going to crawl under the truck, and the first thing I'll note is that my spare tire is no longer here. You can see the brackets rusted out as well, so I just carry it around in the back of the truck now. But if your tire is here, you may want to take it off to give yourself some room. So then, the next thing I'm going to do is disconnect the wiring here. I've got a trailer hitch, you can see, which is pretty rusty too, and the wiring for the trailer brake lights, and this has just been zip tied to the wiring harness for the plate marker lights. So I'm just going to cut these zip ties if my pliers are not working here. Okay, so I got the wires clipped here, or the zip ties clipped rather, not the wires. I'm just going to pull these back and put them somewhere up here out of the way so they're not hanging. And then I should be able to disconnect the factory wiring harness right there with that connector right there. Okay. So first thing I did was pull this little locking clip out of the frame. Now I can get at this a little easier. Let's see if I can squeeze this thing by hand. There, I felt it click. Okay, so that's out. And that should be all the wiring. Okay, one last wire I almost forgot about. I had some homemade backup light things here so that I could see when I was backing up at night, and those have long since been inoperative, so I'm just going to cut that wire that's already disconnected somewhere else. Okay, now that should do it. Alright, so I think the next thing I'm going to do is soak these bolts with PB Blaster. I think there's just these three on this side. This is the driver's side, and then there's just three more on the other side. Kind of see, there's the bumper, and then the bracket mounting to, I guess, what you could say is left of the frame. So these bolts don't look too bad. The other side, the bolts are not in good shape at all, so I don't know how well that's going to work, but we'll see what happens. Okay, and here's the three bolts on the passenger side, or kind of what's left of them. So I'll squirt those down next, let all that soak in, see if we can get this thing off. Alright, on the passenger side here, I was able to get one of the nuts off. Got my 3/4 inch impact socket, got my impact gun, and you can see, and I expected this would happen, that the other two up there kind of rounded off. There really wasn't much left of those nuts, so not sure what I'm going to do with that yet, but I'm going to go to the other side and see if I can at least crack the other three loose. Okay, so I've got those three bolts loose, but I haven't taken the nuts completely off, just so that I don't have to worry about dropping the bumper right now. So now I got to work back on the other side and see if I can get those rusty nuts off. Okay, working on the driver's side, you can see the bottom nut is removed. This one here is rounded over, and I can't get a socket to grab on the nut anymore. This one here, I was able to get a 17mm socket on the nut here, and it doesn't round over anymore. It does grab it, but it won't budge. I'm going to keep working on this a little bit. I may have to get out the torch and heat it up and try and break it free that way. Okay, you can see I was able to get the top nut off finally. What I had to do was I heated it up, and then rather than use the impact wrench, I used breaker bars and just the sockets. So I had one on this side, one breaker bar with a socket, and then one on the back here. And what I did was I held this in place by poking it through the rust hole in the bumper there. So that worked to my advantage. I was able to hold it on there, and then I was able to crack it loose with the other breaker bar on the other side. And then once it was loose enough, I used the impact gun to finish it off. And this is what I used to heat the bolt, just this MAP gas plumbing torch thing that I've got. And of course I had my fire extinguisher ready to go, just in case if there were any problems. I had to use my grinder and the chisel and some hammers and things like that to get the nut off of this bolt over here, but I did finally remove it. So I should be able to get the bumper off. I just have to go finish taking the nuts off the other side over there, and then I should be able to get this thing free of the truck. On this side, the bolts holding in the bumper were this thing on the top, and then these two on the bottom connected with that. And I had to kind of crawl under there and finagle these out. They were interfering a little bit on the heads of the bolts that are holding on the trailer hitch there. Those two bolts, the heads up top, were sort of interfering with sliding out that bottom double bracket. But I was able to get that out with some kind of jimmying. Now I should be able to pull this side away. I've got a similar problem on the other side, but I can't quite get the bracket out of there. It's just jammed underneath the mounting plate for the trailer hitch. So hopefully I should be able to just pull this out and kind of slide it that way, and it should be free. Okay, and there's the bumper on the ground off the truck. You can see the hitch is still there. I was going to remove that. You can kind of see the problem with the bolt here now that I've got the bumper out of the way. The mounting plate for the hitch that kind of goes around the frame rail here is preventing this from wanting to come out with the bumper in there. And actually it still doesn't want to come out, does it? Because of that plate in the way. I started to loosen up this nut, but this was too rusty and it stripped the head on this too. So I was able to get the bumper off just by kind of brute force. Scratched up the paint there a little bit, but I'm not too worried about it. Okay, I think I'm done for today here. I got the old bumper off, and I did end up taking this bolt off the hitch now that the bumper was out of the way. It was kind of easy to get at this with the breaker bars. I ended up breaking the bolt that was here to get it off, and then I was able to remove that kind of bracket thing that was here. So that's out of the way. And then I've just kind of reattached the hitch with some leftover bolts that were still in good condition from this bumper. This is just temporary. When I'm ready to kind of put a bumper on here, I'll replace these with new hardware so that this is somewhat stable. In the meantime, I certainly won't be taking any trailers down the road, just maybe moving them around in the yard. And if I do take the truck on the road, I'll have to throw the license plate up in the back window and won't really leave town. Shouldn't have any problems just running to the hardware store or something like that with the truck, but certainly don't want to go too far with it like this. But anyway, hopefully this video was helpful in some way for you. Thanks for watching, and stay tuned. I'll try and document what I end up doing for a replacement.